Hey everybody, this is Sean Davis with Crypto for the People, and I have CEO of TokenPay, Derek Capo, and I'm very honored to have you on the show. Derek wanted to do this interview, and one of the things that he really stressed to me in doing this interview is he wanted your questions out there. You, the people who are TokenPay holders, Verge holders, anybody interested in crypto. But he really wanted your questions, not mine. So we gathered a bunch of questions from Telegram and from YouTube, and we compiled them into a list here. And Derek is going to go through them all. Derek, again, my name is Sean Davis. Derek, say hello to everybody.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on. I think the first time we were on during the token sale, and this is actually the follow-up, I guess kind of the pseudo follow-up to interview, and I think I owed you one, just given so much of the information that you've been able to communicate with your subscribers, but also the community. I think it's important that that we always have constant communication, which is possible to eliminate any potential FUD or anything like that, and also communicate what's going on. Sometimes we don't have time to actually go and do websites. It's a little bit easier just to go straight to influencers. So thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I want to use this opportunity to kind of go over through these questions. I wanted community-based questions, so that way people don't think that we're just cherry picking what we want and stuff like that. But also, just being able to be clear about all of our intentions and what we're doing, all of our plans, so that everybody knows, what's going on. I think we all have all of this stuff. This stuff does not happen in an instant. But our goal and my role every day is to execute and find people to help me execute. So yeah, all right. So if you want, you can kind of go through some of the first few questions, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. So we have the first question. So we basically Derek categorized it into different. They were all over the place. So these are TokenPay related questions. This question is: what other markets besides gambling, banking, webcams do you plan to enter? It's got some more to it. It says, we know TokenPay wants to be big in Japan and Latin America with the acquisition of Latam Gaming. What other markets are you looking at? TokenPay lending, something similar to Salt, a token-based startup, financing startups, and that's the question. That's the
yeah. So this is good. This is basically kind of we're into kind of a 3-year, 5-year plan. I think at executing all of this stuff right now, it's a lot to handle right now. Actually, this right now is at least 6 months to a year of projects and levels of it. Remember, it's not about just launching these things and just letting them be there. It's launching them and helping them grow, right? So the purpose, or I guess for all of these type of calling this ecosystem of businesses, there's several purposes of why we're doing this. It's become very difficult for a lot of cryptos to just doors of old school businesses and say, hey, you should accept crypto. And then the businesses come back and say, well, why? And then, you'll give your use cases, you won't have to charge, reduce fraud and transaction fees, etc. And then they'll ask that final question is, okay, well, if I accept TokenPay, how do I convert that to fiat? I'm like, well, then that's a problem because I got to pay my employees in fiat, my vendors in fiat, all that stuff. So you got to solve that entire solution for them so they can understand why they want to interact and use crypto in the first place, right? If you're trying to tell them there's problems, you've got to give them the solution. So you have to have all of that. The most important thing to have an ecosystem. Why? Because if we keep on knocking on all these doors of all these businesses, it's going to be hard to really start doing that. So we figure our own ecosystem and then build that into something amazingly big. Then eventually that'll start attracting other industries as well, or other businesses within that ecosystem, and then larger and larger and larger. So it's better to control it and find people to build it. I mean, we're recruiting people from the old school world, right? People who work for amazing companies that want to come in because they know blockchain is and they know it's ripe with a lot of disruption, but also opportunities are vast, right? This is an amazing opportunity for us to recruit talent. So we're looking at these businesses right now. We are obviously going to be open to many other businesses. We love real estate. That's why escrow is a portion of that. We think real estate is a fantastic opportunity for us. Most of the wealth in this world is based on real estate and the transactions that go on. And that's not just on a level where I am in the US or whatever, but global, right? I mean, we're going to start to see more millennials transact in real estate and purchase because of crypto. It's so much easier. But it's long term. Real estate is a slow industry in regards to adopting certain technologies, but there's a lot of opportunity there. I'll talk a little bit about LATAM gaming acquisition. That was more of an acqui-hire. There was a guy that we really liked that's been in the space for many, many years, I think 15 or so. And in order to get in the space, sometimes your first acquisition to get into a space is to acquire talent to be able to take you to the next level. I'll give you an example. Warren Buffett is into an industry that he likes. He'll buy one company that's really, really good. For example, one of them that he bought was Jordan's Furniture, for example. He would do is he would get Jordan's Furniture and maybe a couple other ones from different regions. One's in the West Coast, one in the Midwest, and one in the East Coast. And one of the things or to tell them to do is, here's the price I'm going to pay, whatever, for 80% or 90% of the business, etc. However, your job is to find me somebody that you know so we can buy them. That way, they would grow networks and grow and grow and grow the industry without him having to talk to anybody. He would have those reps who were leaders in the industries in the region go in and start doing that. And that's basically what we looked at. We looked at this acquisition as an acqui-hire. We saw that this guy had a lot of vast networks. He had contracts on gaming companies. And we said, well, this guy really just needs a little bit of help, a little bit of push here and there, and the capital to be able to do a lot of things. And purchase. It was a very small acquisition. It wasn't just less than $1 million. And for us, it was just an opportunity for us to kind of get into the foray extremely quick. And start learning about gaming would take me, maybe a year or so, and the learning curve would be not worth it. As for lending, I'm really against anything like that for now. I like the fact that Bitcoin and crypto is very credit based. Is there a possibility for some level of lending? Yeah, maybe if we did, it would be maybe temporary. Your assets are in crypto. So for example, let's say you had $1 million of crypto or whatever it is, and we saw that those assets are extremely stable. For example, $50 with the Bitcoin, I think it would be okay and possibly okay to lend, maybe 10% of that or 20%, but probably no more than that because it's pretty volatile. But if you have $1 million portfolio of like altcoins and I don't really know who they are, how good they are, there's no way I can lend you anything off of that because that's not an asset that's been established. If we ever did anything like that, it would be something where we'd have to see what the regulatory board would say, especially if we're doing something in Germany with a bank, see exactly what asset class makes sense. And those rates would probably be high. It wouldn't be like a typical asset like a house, right? So if a house gives you maybe 5, if you're doing crypto, you're probably going to look at more. But I'm against that. I'm against lending in a sense because that's what puts people in really tough binds, right? I'm against credit card charges, APR, stuff like that. Yeah. It's very easy to get sucked into it. So I'm going through all of these questions so you guys can understand our mindset, what we're thinking and why we're thinking this and the purpose and how that benefits us. Okay.
Very cool.
Do you want to go?
Good answer. Okay. Let me ask you another one. So with all the rules and regulations from the United States, with United States citizens, or will United States citizens be able to open up a TokenPay bank account?
It's a very, very good question. For now, no. The answer is no. The U.S. would probably not benefit from a bank account with TokenPay for probably this year at the minimum, and I'll explain why. Obviously, the regulatory environment obviously keen about making new regulations and making sure that's all good. And for us right now, we're not ready. However, in saying that, there is our listed on our website CFO Joseph Bassetti's on there. He's been working with us, basically, working with the team. His full-time job, because we didn't have any capital when we first started. This is pre-token sale. He's actually working for a very, very large regional bank in the United States doing mergers and acquisitions. It's basically what he does. And he works, works with the regulators. And when I started speaking to him, I said, listen, crypto is a new thing. And at the end of the day, I think it's very important that somebody like yourself that's young understands crypto and understands it very well, because if there's anywhere you're going to work with the bank in the US, in Florida, or wherever it is, you're going to have a firsthand experience of what's going on. You're going to understand the technology better than everybody because you saw it from the ground, literally from the ground. It's much easier. It's like me acquiring a free agent from a sport. I know it's great talent, or me getting a rookie that's got an amazing raw talent, and I raise them into a system and get them to teach them, and eventually they'll become a superstar, right? I know one is a superstar because very high price, which is me working with a very large bank. That's the analogy, right? I go in with Bank of America. That would be an acquired free agent,
right?
And versus me getting a rookie or somebody young and learn this whole thing, and eventually they'll be just as good as a superstar as the guy that I acquired. So for us, Joseph really is our kind of our eyes and ears on what's going on in the States. Opportunity to work with the bank that he's working with right now, that's fantastic. But there's also opportunity that if he goes to another bank as the CFO of that bank, he'll be able to start working with us on. We could acquire a bank in the US, relabel it TokenPay, and he would be our CFO or CEO, right? So there's a lot of opportunities that we see with I strategically brought in people that made sense, not only for us today, but us for a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. I truly believe that in order to get people involved and understand that, kind of the long term, it's important to find different people to help out. And so that was the short term and kind of long term intention of why I did that. So the goal is, we do want to do stuff in the States, but until the US basically has very clear and no longer gray, then we'll definitely jump in. Of course, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, next question. This is a Twitter question. Well, how are the talks with Charlie Lee going?
Well, that's very interesting. So both of us have signed an NDA.
Have you talked to him? I guess that's the question. You guys are talking or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I guess we'll go with how it started.
Yeah, tell the
some
story.
People don't know or aware. I'm actually very quiet on Twitter. I don't really post a lot, or didn't post a lot. I'm very quiet because you have to be very careful about what you say, and you can say one thing and you'll have 50 different opinions, and I understand. So I try to be extreme. I keep it to a platform like this, right, where I can ask questions and think, right. So it all started with Charlie mentioning something about getting Litecoin listed with Pornhub, because Verge obviously signed a very, very big deal with Pornhub to do that. Now, we had owned a significant amount of Verge before this opportunity came up. We were contacted by the lead developer. We signed an NDA, obviously, and we didn't get the actual company name. We just got an idea of what it was. And I trusted him. He was our blockchain advisor. I've been working with him for a year or so. And I had full faith effort that this would be a very, very big deal. I still think it's fantastic. I think this industry, it's got a lot of bad rep. I get it. I understand. But on a technological standpoint, and I think people have to understand that in order to get mass adoption for certain things, it's important to understand that there are leaders that always start, okay? I mean, let's a little bit of a tangent. This industry basically decided that VHS recording home was going to be important. This industry decided that Blu-ray DVD was going to win over real HD DVD, because real DVD or real HD DVD had 20 or had 50 gigabytes. I mean, it was very obvious who the winner was going to be, but obviously they were the pioneers. Video streaming. They had better video streaming on before YouTube even existed, okay? And I think that's extremely important that people understand that they always have pushed the envelope when it comes to technology, because there's always been this supply demand, with their industry. And whenever you're a business owner and you have the supply demand situation, fine, solve it, right? And now they're doing the same thing with VR. I mean, it's the main reason why VR is going to be mainstream to some extent is because of this industry. I understand it's got this negative rap, and there's obviously people out there that don't like it, but the reality is a lot of the decisions and a lot of the tools that you're using today is because of the same. Forget that. So for me, that was an opportunity for us. We thought that this was an opportunity for Verge as well. I'll say this because I've known Verge for a very long time. I've met the developer. They're very, very strong on the development side. They've built an amazing community, and I've always admired what they've been able to do. They have been doing this stuff on a shoestring budget. They didn't do a token sale like we did, right? They didn't have a lot of capital to do all this stuff, or to do a lot of the stuff that we've been able to do so fast. That's why it was so much. We have capital, and we can make decisions and do deals fast, whereas they can't. So when he came to me kind of asking, can you help out? I said, absolutely. Give you a certain percentage of your total crowdfunding goal, and let's go execute, and we'll help you out any way we can. Well, then the crowdfunding started happening, and we started noticing that they were kind of potentially going to meet short-term goals. So we started helping out, try to double the funds of anybody that did, and then we got a bump. That was great. And then we really need to hit the 75 million Verge goal. That was kind of the kicker to really get this going. And I said, okay, fine, we'll fund it. Obviously, most people, there's the opportunity for us was that we knew that in the Verge community, TokenPay will be known. That means that we would be able to have close to 350,000 people that never heard about TokenPay. Remember, our token sale only had about 100,000 people register, 120, but some emails or 2 or 3 emails were the same person. So I'll say about 100,000 people. And if I can get an audience of 350, well, how much would that cost? And these are not people who are just casual. These are people who really care about crypto and understands the value of what TokenPay has as a blockchain and what values the Verge has as well. So it was an opportunity for us to front of this community, but also at the same time, part of the things that we agreed upon were that anything that we with Verge, they would be on there as well. So the bank is obviously a business. It would be able to generate some revenues and profits, and that's an opportunity for us holders and stuff like that would benefit. So all of this is meant for the long term. It's not meant for just short term, kind of thought process, and so on and so forth. So what happened was Charlie Leaves mentioned that Litecoin should be listed with Pornhub,
right? And
it makes sense. The number 5 coin, they've got pretty fast, and Coinbase. I mean, he gets it. If people go to Coinbase, convert cash to Litecoin and Litecoin to use on Pornhub or whatever it is, it makes sense. Not that easy with Verge. With Verge, you would have to go from cash to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to Verge. So that would be kind of an issue. But until now, that's the price you pay for a level. I guess that's what it is. That's the argument. So Charlie, he's obviously a very influential guy, but at the same time, I'm not going to let anybody just step on the accomplishment that Verge had done, and to some extent, what we made happen as well. So I'm very quiet, but I wasn't that day. And I saw Charlie, you can look at the stream of the questions and stuff, or the back and forth. But I said, hey, what have you done for this industry? Did you do a crowdfund? Did you ever try to make an effort? And obviously the answer was no. TokenPay helped a lot, so get in line. It was a little bit, I guess, a little bit arrogant, but a little bit alpha at that moment. But I felt it was a way to just kind of get, and it did. I started talking to him and explaining, listen, you can't be bitter about this. This is a huge thing for the industry. This is more than just, the adult entertainment industry. This is about our technology now being accepted by a business that's a pioneer, but also very, very influential, and has a massive media where they have 1 billion people visit their website. Basically their websites visit every year, and that's amazing. And we started talking back and forth, and he agreed that, there was a big battle out there and that we needed to work together, not be divisive. And, I asked me, and he was very, very nice, actually. And he asked me very detailed questions. He's like, okay, let's basically he said, what's your plan? I said, well, very simple. In order for this to really work for all of us, we need to have ecosystems, partnerships, and a seat at the table with the regulators. We cannot use agents. We can also speak on our behalf, because if we do, that message is going to be convoluted, and who knows, right? So this is why we're buying a bank in Germany. Germany allows us to have a seat at the table with the regulators. We can use the opportunity to educate the regulators what's going on. If they have any concerns, we can reply to them. If there's any technology we would want to incorporate, let's do it. We're here to make this all work, right? But at the same time, we need to make this a cordial conversation, right? Partnership systems are important because an ecosystem is needed, because if you keep on knocking on a bunch of doors of old school businesses, you're not solving the problem, you're never going to get there. So might as well just build a system where you can have the supplier, you can be the customer or the buyer, whatever it is, and you can grow that little by little. Partnerships are important because if you don't have, obviously we consider Verge a partner with certain aspects, and if we have something like a partnership with Litecoin, I mean, that would help out both of us because I have a Litecoin maybe wouldn't want to do or would never thought of do. And I say, hey, would you want to be a part of this, right? Stuff like that. So I think the more partnership means smart partnerships, right? With people who are legitimate and have made an effort to do real business, kind of minded things and strategic and like that, then that makes sense for everybody, right? And at the end of the day, who's really benefiting? It's the people, the businesses that are going to start using this, and how that really kind of influences. So Charlie and I have signed an NDA, so that's about it. That's all I can say about that. But there's a lot of cool things that we're working on. Hopefully we can find a lot, and it's fine. At least I have a direct connection to Charlie, which would be a fantastic opportunity, honestly, for me personally and for TokenPay. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so we have an NDA signed with Charlie Lee. Next question. Where does Derek want to see the company in 1 year, 3 years, and his ultimate goal for TPAY?
Yeah, so 1 year, like I mentioned, in all of those plans. Three, I try to look at things 3 to 5 years. I would like to see hundreds of thousands of customers, if not millions of customers, using our bank's platform, growing that. I'd like to see a major partnership with major old school companies. Once we've established proof of concept and proof, I think a lot of these older companies don't want to invest or don't want to do anything, or be very quick to pull the trigger on something unless they've seen real results. If they see that, for example, we've transacted a few $1 billion worth of crypto on our merchant services platform, and we show that there's a revenue stream or something there, then that allows us to do a partnership with another company, or they can acquire that division on its own. And that's fine. Remember, at the end of the day, what's being used is TokenPay in the blockchain. So the goal is to launch these businesses and then grow these businesses. And then once we start growing these businesses, working on larger partnerships to make this even bigger. Okay. I don't want to be in a situation where I keep adding businesses, because it's going to be very difficult, all of this. We are having teams set up. So that are basically kind of like a bunch of mini CEOs, which is fine. But at the end of the day, before we do industry or new business, we got to make sure it makes sense. It makes sense for the features of our blockchain. It makes sense for, kind of whether the ecosystem works, right? The goal is, can one ecosystem help the other ecosystem, right?
Right.
Or can one division help the other division help, so that the ecosystem gets bigger and stronger, right? It's kind of like Amazon. Amazon has like this flywheel approach. I think if you look at one of the books about Jeff Bezos, it talks about how they start with one industry, and then eventually you get sucked into that, and then you start buying another thing and buying another thing, and eventually it gets to the point where you're literally buying everything that you can think of. And that's how it all starts. Obviously, I'm not saying that we're going to be as big as Amazon or anything like that. That would be foolishly arrogant for me to say. The goal is, how can you replicate aspects of that model into us and kind of crypto in general? I think what happens is, a lot of crypto is people create these tokens, and they're like, one trick ponies. They work on one thing only, and it's all in or bust, right? And the reality is that in startup in the world, 90-something% of them fail. And it's because they're fighting a war by themselves, right? And there's a whole big battle out there. Them are maybe a little bit arrogant, don't want to do partnerships, and they're not realizing the value in all of that. So for us, we feel like we can build ecosystems, build industries that are definitely technology, and then go from there. And eventually, over time, we'll sign bigger and bigger deals. I mean, that's the goal. Okay. So yeah. All right.
Perfect.
We're only like, so we can keep going.
Amazing, man. All right, this is my question.
Yeah.
There's been a few cryptos that have tried to issue MasterCard Visa-related crypto cards. Many have been shut down by credit card processors. What does having a bank license mean in terms of issuing debit cards? Does it have a banking license remove the need for approval from a credit card issuer?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a negotiation that's going to happen between us, the bank, and the credit card companies of exactly how this works. I think the issue is not so much that Visa, MasterCard don't want to do it. I think the issue is exactly happening on the technology end and what's happening on the KYC AML front. A lot of these other crypto processors were basically they were just customers of a bank. So for us, we have several options. Number one, we have it so that it's fiat, that the card is just transacting in fiat, not really crypto. But we can have it so that crypto converts to fiat and fiat gets deposited into your checking account that's linked to a debit, archaic, but at least you're converting your crypto, which you can technically do now by just linking to your bank account. But, there's obviously benefits to that. Once they become comfortable with that, then eventually they'll out straight to crypto, to the fiat, right? To the card. Another opportunity is to have our own network or that's not Visa, MasterCard. There actually are other networks out there that people don't know about that allow you to do that. So that's also another important thing. I think they're okay with it, believe it or not. I think they're definitely into the blockchain space. I think they want to be a part of it. They see the need for it. They don't want to get their industry killed, right? At the end of the day. I think that once we have a bank, we have an opportunity to sit down with them. So Joey, our CFO, actually is with Visa, MasterCard, right? And in the US, it would not be difficult for us to get a conversation with them and saying, listen, what's the deal? What can we do? I don't want where you shut us down for whatever reason. So this has to be constant communication. You cannot have this as a business. There's no way that a business can survive with the risks that you are to just shut everything down. And if you did, then look at other alternatives. That's the reality, right? So it'll be constant communication, exactly how they want it. If they want it to be just fiat based, then fine, right? It is what it is. As long as we follow all the rules, and it's kind of like what's the difference? Bank accepting Chinese renminbi, converting it to dollar, getting that dollar and depositing it into your debit card. What's the difference, right? Crypto is just like any currency, right? Then what's the difference? Is the issue that you don't know where that money came from? I mean, it's coming from China. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
The bank the relationship is between the bank and Visa and MasterCard, and the bank's job is to make sure that they know who the customers are.
Right.
Know who the customers are. Or they feel that or the Visa feels that the bank is doing a bad job of not knowing who the customers are. Then the whole relationship will just get ruined, right? So. I gotcha. Extremely important that we establish.
That's
okay.
Perfect, man. That's a great answer. All right, so let's talk about this decentralized exchange, the DEX exchange. How do you say that? EFIN? Is that how you pronounce it?
EFIN, not EFIN.
So how's this going to work? Walk me through it like I'm a customer. How would I use this DEX?
Yeah, there's a few decentralized exchanges right there, but the biggest issue with exchanges today is that some of them don't get me wrong, some of them are amazing and they're very fast, but they are very centralized. So they're exposing themselves to having all these coins and a wallet, whether it's a hot wallet or it's extremely dangerous. And we figured that there's an opportunity for people to just exchange within each other to do that. One way that people do that is called through atomic swaps. The problem with atomic swaps, at least short term, is that developers would have to work together on every single crypto to make it happen. So it's a lot of work. So the best thing to do with the decentralized exchange is assume that the decentralized exchange is just one big giant atomic swap. People to convert from one to the other without really having to jump on each other's blockchains. They're just using kind of like this quote unquote middleman, but that middleman is not centralized. We coins. We will not hold any of the coins. No bank will hold any of these coins. Nobody. The coins will be basically held by the people. So if you're trading from TokenPay to BTC, the someone's going to put in a sell order for BTC or a buy order for TokenPay, and they're going to be really interacting with each other. So those coins will go directly to their wallets, that they're control access to their keys, everything. Why is that important? Safety. I think people need to start getting used to the fact that if you own crypto and you want to control of your own finances and stuff like that, that you need to learn how to control this better. So that's how it's going to work. Is there a possibility to integrate up with the decentralized exchange? Yes, there is an opportunity to have integrate potential banking with that. Obviously, we'd have to see exactly how it would make sense with the regulator. They approve it, stuff like that. But the opportunities to be able to convert to other stuff. We're also looking at other products and services that we can also in crypto. So it's not just crypto to crypto. Maybe we can do crypto and some other investment asset classes like gold, copper. I mean, who knows, right? We just have to see exactly how it happen, right? Who can we use? Who's going to provide that liquidity to make it all kind of a reality?
This isn't one of the questions on here, but this is just kind of a follow-up. Is there is there anything out there like this what you're describing right now?
Yeah, there are. There's a few of them. I think BISC is a good kind of one to look at, and kind of that's a software you download. So this is all not web-based. This is a software you download, and then that software gives you access to that network.
I see.
And selling. Kind of like it's kind of like entering an FTP or so, or kind of like a chat, like a Telegram chat, and then having people talk about buying and slowly getting into the pit of a Florida stock exchange and seeing what's going on. But it's instead of in the pit of the stock exchange, one guy's a representative of a brokerage firm. It's literally one guy, right? And so the market is based on what the people are individually are buying and selling and trading.
Wow.
So yeah.
Very cool. All right, man. I've got number 8 here. Has TokenPay acquired the bank?
So officially, no, we have not acquired the bank, but I do have the contract. I have postponed signing that contract because there have been other developments that I obviously can't say, and we're waiting to see what the answer of those developments are. It would just literally take me 5 seconds to sign, send some money in, and it'll be executed. Okay,
wow.
It's for 9% of the bank today. It's for a bank in Munich.
Say that again. You broke up real quick. It was how much? 9%?
It's 9.9%.
Okay.
Why is it 9.9%? Very, very simple question. In the U.S., in Germany, or a lot of countries, security reasons, and for regulators to really know who owns a bank in their own country, an individual can only own up to 9.9% of a bank. Okay. If they decide to own more than that, they would have to go through a process to be able to control and buy that bank. That process would consist of making a presentation to the regulators, saying what the purpose is of acquiring the majority of this bank, and what the business plan is, everything. I mean, you really know what's going on, what you're planning on doing, because they don't want to be in a situation where, German bank, blah, 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 right?
Right.
It takes a minimum of 6 months to approve. That would take a long time, obviously. So in order to get things started, the owner said, let's do 9.9 now. And then when you get approval, you can get the rest of the bank if they approve. And I said, okay, fine. So we're working directly with the bank owner to already start looking at, shifting some of the aspects of the bank, or having the new division for crypto itself actually has its own functioning business, which is very real estate oriented. It's not a typical retail bank. It's not like something that you can go to and just not go and open up a checking account. It's all online based, and it'll be like that for a very long time. Just because retail banking is kind of dying. It's, people are using ATM, that's not necessary. And there'll be a division there that'll be specifically for crypto. So the checking accounts will be different, everything. Okay.
Sweet. So so basically it's 100% could be done, but all you'd have to do is sign it, but you're holding off right now because you got a bunch of different options. Is that sort
yes,
of okay?
That is one of them.
But like your level of certainty, I guess, with the bank, I'm just trying to find your level of certainty is like you're 100% that you're gonna get a
100% that we're going to acquire 9.9.
That's crazy.
I would say 50-50 if we have full control. I don't know what the regulators will do.
Okay.
Right.
And with the 9.9%, what can you do? What it like? I've seen you say before. Can you issue the debit card, start all that?
Yeah, we would be able to start creating the whole division specifically to crypto. I mean,
So with your 9.9, you start a crypto division of this bank, and you start rocking and rolling. Cool.
Right, because the CEO wants it to happen, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense that for the hesitancy of me doing the 9.9 is not for legal or monetary or anything like that. The hesitancy has been I have been talking to some other people who are very, very influential, and I'm trying to bring them in. I'm trying to bring them into the bank.
I see.
So,
I got you.
Instead of me owning 9.9, I can bring Sean Davis and Crypto for the People for 9.9. Whoever that would benefit, right?
Right.
And then if I could bring 3 other people that are influential, right?
Yeah.
You know, major exchange, would you be interested in buying 9.9% of a bank with us? Right. You know, that's important. So the important thing was to get the deal first and then say, okay, let me look around and see if that would be interested in buying some other 9.9% stakes as well. And the key thing is to make sure that everybody's independent, which is fine because that would be full, right? Is there a big difference between owning 90% of a bank? Because the CEO actually wants to own 10%. So that's very cool. That they want to be a skin in the game. But do I really want to own 90%? If I know I can get 60 or 50%, but I got 3 or 4 amazing new partners become much bigger? Yeah, absolutely. Why would I not want to let those other companies or people in when I know that they can take us from whatever bank valuation is today to something 50 times larger?
Right.
You know, not only just crypto world, right? Yeah. So I'm being smart about this.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's important. We're not just, quick trigger, pull trigger kind of thing. So it's not about doubt. It's 100% going to happen. 9.9.
Got it.
Today or 2 weeks from now. It just depends.
Cool. You know, just going off what you just said, this isn't a question, but I've been following you for a while, and your rhetoric is different than most that I've heard before. And whereas there's a lot of not infighting, but I'm on this team, you're on that team. I root for my team. I hope your team fails in crypto. And what I'm hearing from you is, hey, let's get some good teams together and let's just go crush this thing. So that's sort of how you...
Yeah, because you look at, give you a perfect example. My team, the Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, have always had this curse that they always have 1 or 2 amazing players.
Yeah.
They never make the playoffs and they suck.
Right.
But they're players, right? And you want to root for your team, but if you don't have the core things for making a championship baseball team, the pitching, the batting, right, catching, and good coaching, right? I mean, those are the 4 amazing things that you need to have, which is basically a whole team. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get to your goal, the ultimate goal, which is something, guys, or whatever it is, a baseball team to make it to the World Series and to win it, right? And this is the very beginning of crypto. I mean, I came in later developers who have been very, very entrenched. You know, this is mine. This is, me versus you. And I'm the business guy. I'm a business guy that says, guys, it's not the way we want to succeed. We've got to work together. And the reason why Verge was so easy is because we went up to the main developer, asked for help, he helped chain. It started very small, okay? That was a relationship that started very small, very, informal, and then eventually it became bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's gotten to the point where it's pretty big, very strong. And I said, okay, that worked. How can I now replicate that success so that both parties can benefit, right? And then we bring somebody else in or whatever it is and build it up again. I mean, as long as we have a Venn diagram, there's a lot of similarities that, absolutely. Of course, you're going to have competition. I mean, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that are just going to be your enemy. But if anything, that enemy stuff, as long as there's press about it and there's more awareness of crypto, then that's the good thing. But to me personally, I think that the more with specific projects, the better chance we have to succeed. If I believe that there's a potential for there to be a massive ton of cryptos that will not survive, I want to be the PayPal, the Amazon, and the eBay that stick around. I don't want to be the pets.com.
Yeah.
Okay. For you guys, young people that don't understand, in the 1990s, I was a teenager, actually. I was in high school when I got into this whole .com bubble thing. You had so many of these companies come out of nowhere, and some of them were great and some of them were not, and you didn't know who was going to survive. And back then, believe it or not, was actually America Online, which is the largest internet ISP provider at that time, right? And you thought, oh, they would never die. And well, guess what? They did. They merged with Time Warner, and then, kind of a shit show there. But guess what? Amazon was born. Google was born. Google came out, but Amazon was born. PayPal was there, right? They got bought out by eBay. You had juggernauts, true juggernauts that survived all of that. And that I want to be in. I do not want to be the pets.com, which was supposedly going to be what today would be Chewy.com, which is a pet supply store that eventually got bought out by PetSmart. They literally went bust within 2 or 3 years, and they raised hundreds of millions of dollars from investors, and they went bust. They had a great name, and all of a sudden, they just didn't as well as they could have. And there's a graveyard of these startups. And do I believe that there's going to be a graveyard of crypto startups? Absolutely out of my mind. I do not want to be one of them. I don't want any of people who own TokenPay or any of these businesses that we didn't to even bother. So we want to be, kind of who in the next 3 to 5 years. That's the mindset, and not just like the value of the coin. We're talking about like business fundamental. These people are getting stuff done, executing, and it makes a lot of sense. And these guys are the leaders that are going to help us forward into whatever it is that we're going to do the next 3 to 5 years. So yes, I think a lot of people don't understand why it's important to create partnerships and to work together versus this divisive nature that's in. Very
cool. All right, let me get this next one. This is I am from India, and my name is Biswajat Brahma. Sorry if I butchered that.
Biswajat Brahma, yeah.
You got it? Okay. My question to Derek is whether TokenPay is going to list in other top 5 exchanges before their own exchange launch. Please mention my name, which we did, and please pick up my question, which we did. So, are you planning on doing a top 5 exchange before your own exchange? And I don't know, you have some issues. Okay. Can you talk about exchanges now?
That's the goal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all about liquidity for us. It's not about. So there's 2 camps, right? There's people that want us an exchange so that you can either sell their coins. There's some people that want to just so they can. I get it. We don't personally care about that. What we care about is there enough liquidity for us to be able to have all these ecosystems that we're building, right? These businesses to have accessibility to that.
Yeah.
That's what we really care about. I think people have to understand what we care about and what the market and all the traders and whatever.
So you don't care about you don't care about trading TokenPay like a stock. You care about You care about if people want, just like the Verge. What we're talking about with Verge, where people are going to have to go to Coinbase and then Bitcoin and then Verge. You want to make it really easy to get TokenPay for people and get out of TokenPay.
So that is correct.
So they can use it like a currency.
The key to adoption is accessibility, the accessibility to this type of asset, and the ability to use it very quickly, whether it's to purchase something or not, and for able to rebuy it or not rebuy, or sell it so that you can, if you ever need to convert back to fiat or whatever it is, right?
Okay.
It's not for trading. It's not for the value of the coin. I mean, people really, I want this. I'm like, I don't really care. I want to make sure that, because when I talk to exchanges, I actually ask them other stuff. I say, what can we work on together? Is there anything that we can work on together? Is there any way that we can work with the bank? We're buying a bank. Can we work together on this? Let's see. Do you guys need a bank account? Because that's some of these exchanges. Hey, do you guys need a bank account? Maybe there's something that we can work out. I don't have just one bank. I've got, believe it or not, I've got 2 or 3 other banks that want us pieces of them so we can help them convert to crypto.
Wow.
Another bank in Liechtenstein. Yeah, another bank in Liechtenstein wants us to buy up to 10%, where we would be a strategic partner. We would own and we would help them convert to crypto because they know that we know what's going on and we have the influence. We could literally bring in thousands of customers overnight, right?
Yeah.
They know. For us, it's more like what kind of stuff makes sense, right? For business purposes.
Makes sense. Good answer. Okay. So there's been an issue with the Android wallet being unavailable. I actually have it here. It's working for me now, but sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. Is this going to be solved and will it be working consistently? That's the question.
Yeah. So the answer was we were working on it and we had fixed it. We've got a couple of good developers on it right now. A couple of really, really good lead developers of actually believe it or not, other coins that are actually helping me out. That's what I'm telling about partnerships. There's actually like 4 or 5 other blockchain projects that I have been helping in some way, and they've been helping us. And it's all about working together. And I constantly communicate that. And I make the first move. I always make the first move. I say, please, I don't understand. You may not know me. My name is Derek, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have a phone conversation with them, and I'll send them some TPAY. I'll send them some TokenPay blindly. Not, it's up to me, but I say, listen, here's some TokenPay. This is just show you that I mean business, that I'm not here to mess around. If you want to walk away from this, fine. But I gave it to you. And if you ever want to come back and help us out, there's more waiting for you or other stuff that we can work on together. And there's like few that are top 100 coins. So in regards to Android, we have fixed it. We actually write a script that every time it goes down, we put it back up. It's basically because of proof of stake. It's actually common to have a proof of stake coin. So there's been some orphan blocks that are coming in because you try to make the blockchain faster. It's basically being fixed. It's been fixed, and then something we're kind of making sure it works out. But of course, my goal is to have 100% uptime, not to have this variable uptime. That's not a way to scale the business, right? We'll have the wallet. Right now, it's a standalone wallet. It has like 3 coins and the stuff like that. No, the goal is to have this integrated with their bank, our merchant, stuff like that, so that it's all in your control. At the end of the day, it's not under our control. So for us, it's just kind of like a test in progress. It works. I have it. I bought an Android phone just to have it. And then to lead to that, iOS, that's been pushed back. We had our roadmap that we had first quarter of this year. That'll be until 3rd, 4th quarter until we get something that actually makes sense. So Verge has been doing an iOS. We're going to work with them on that so that we can both have it. So that's the how, right? If one person's doing one thing, well, what's the point of recreating it from scratch and messing up? And we know that they're going to have it, so might as well us have it as well. So stuff like that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Okay. So I've seen this on Telegram, but I hardly ever see it anymore, but I know it comes up. I actually threw this in here just because I know people ask this. If someone still doesn't have their coins from the ICO and they're owed to them, they know they are, how can they get this resolved? Where should they go for help?
Yeah, so just leave the support ticket form through your account and your dashboard. You got to log into the dashboard, submit a ticket request. We went down from like 20,000 tickets to like 3,000. A lot of them, people were sending screenshots and verifying. It's very simple. You have to say, your name and show the email that matches our system, so it can't be a different email. Screenshots showing proof of your transaction. We have an idea of already who's lying and who's not lying. Some people have been sending really bad screenshots, so we know what are the bad ones. Once you do that, we have a team of 12 people and a few people that I'm extremely close to helping me distribute these coins, actually going and actually distributing. I want to say that 3,000 people have not received their coins because they have not submitted their TokenPay wallet address, okay?
Yeah.
So if the issue is that you have not the wallet address, you need to do that. If it's an issue where you don't see the number of coins reflected on your account, then that's when you need to provide screenshots, et cetera, et cetera. But for us, has been able to make it significantly faster to do that. I mean, some people contact me directly on Telegram, and they give me the data points, and within minutes, I'm sending them coins, or somebody else is sending them coins. I've actually handed off some of those duties because I got to working on the big stuff.
Sure.
But I did it for about a month. I wanted to show people that I'm helping out and stuff like that. And I did. I helped out thousands of people. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
All right.
Okay. And it's
yeah,
for the U.S. citizens.
Yeah, U.S. citizens. Okay. Is it okay for U.S. citizens to store TokenPay on their wallets after buying from exchange? Their website says you can't. So your website says you can't. Was that only during the ICO?
That is correct. That was only through the token sale. And right now, through the exchange cryptos, purchase TokenPay as an American citizen, and have that. If you have Bitcoin, buy TokenPay, and then from TokenPay your wallet and start staking or whatever.
Okay.
That's it. It's just that it was only that one period. After
so the
that,
only restriction was the ICO, and everybody in the world can buy it.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right. Okay. Okay, this guy says, this is part of that same guy. About the exchange, they announced the TokenPay exchange, but now they're asking for EFIN exchange with a new EFIN coin. I did see something about that in your ecosystem newsletter. I don't understand why they're coming up with another coin. We are waiting for just TokenPay exchange, not for another coin exchange. Please ask this question. Right. So basically, there's some. I saw something about a coin on your EFIN exchange, like a new coin. I think.
Yeah, the EFIN coin basically is to basically provide different features in our current blockchain, which are definitely more geared to an exchange. So it's got features, and so in order for that to work properly, we felt that this was the right approach.
Is it kind of like a Binance coin for Binance?
There you go. Exactly the same. So it's basically so that if people want to use and pay for fees, they use the EFIN coin, et cetera, et cetera. And that EFIN coin will be specific asset classes that we want it to be linked to.
Okay.
So it's just another opportunity for us to expand, and it's another thing where if the exchange did really well, then at least it's got its own blockchain, and it's not just tied to TokenPay. So that's something that we wanted to have as well.
Okay, perfect. When is EFIN, Tokens Decentralized Exchange, going to go live?
I would say third or fourth quarter of this year. We're probably going to start testing it in a few months. So I would probably say by third or fourth quarter, we'll probably have a launch date. I don't want to say exactly when. Things always take a little bit of time building something like this. Right? Okay. We're going to have probably an alpha period where we have some people test and see how everything goes. And then we'll have something probably by third or fourth quarter this year. I think we have that in a roadmap like that for third or fourth quarter this year.
Perfect. Third or fourth quarter. Okay. This question, you might have answered this. Let's see. You're buying a German bank. Cool. But what is it? Or what will be the difference between a normal bank and a crypto bank? What products will they have? Interest earning accounts, atomic swaps, real estate mortgages, business loans. You sort of covered this already. What do you think?
Yeah. I think the correlation between this bank, our bank, and a regular bank will be pretty much the same. And then over time, there's other stuff that we'll incorporate. I address this because I think I learned a lot from 2008 and the financial crisis that really was a worldwide phenomenon. And I do not want to position as a bank where we're sucked into this old mentality of giving out loans and charging interest rate and stuff like that, and getting people in debt. Because people in debt have no power and the ability to not make good decisions. It's kind of like the thought process that, homeownership is good. And the reality is homeownership basically reduces the chance for somebody to move on to better opportunities when it comes to work, right?
Yeah.
But homeownership, you have that stable mindset, you know where you are, you have your place, you have your shelter, you can have a family that is next to the park and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I get these two arguments, right? The beautiful thing is the internet has changed that, where you can live where you want to live. You can be in an area where you like the people around you who work.
It's crazy.
The internet has changed that concept, right? The millennial generation, or at least the younger ones, they like to travel a lot. They've noticed they travel, and the internet has allowed them to travel and work anywhere. So for me, it's about what is the bank going to do now, and what can the bank do 5 years from now? And personally, I don't want to be a situation where a bank is having to collect interest payments and going after people's assets, right?
Yeah.
That's not kind of the run, I guess.
Sweet. By the end of this year, what services will TokenPay be able to offer to token holders? Banking, debit card, decentralized exchanges. So it's December 2018. You're in the future. What do you see being offered through TokenPay?
Yeah, I think banking for sure, debit card for sure, and decentralized exchange. Yes, to all of that, and a few other things as well. We're trying to do as much as we can, and like I said, add to that ecosystem so that more TPAY holders can use it. You know, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at.
Perfect. So maybe so this is you want that question?
Yeah.
You want that question?
About the MasterCard and the
Maybe you can ask by partly acquiring a bank. Are there any obstacles in the way? MasterCard or Visa being able to refuse cards due to non-compliance with their rules. Major banks hindering investors by not accepting transfers from this banking make it difficult once again to convert to crypto to fiat. So I guess they're asking. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I think let me look at it like this. Visa, MasterCard cannot be against crypto. Why? If I go on Coinbase right now, I can no longer buy with a credit card. I think that's a great thing, believe it or not. I think people should not buy crypto on credit card. If you go with your Coinbase right now, link up your bank account, buy Bitcoin, you make some money, hopefully, right? You sell your Bitcoin, you transfer it back to your bank account, and you use your debit card to buy, a debit card or whatever, or a credit card to purchase an asset. Guess what? You did use crypto profits or your crypto to make that happen.
Right.
And the reality is the bank knows that happened, and Visa, MasterCard probably will find out eventually if they ask the bank, did this happen? Guess what? There's millions of people on Coinbase that are doing this right now.
Right.
Do you understand? So how is that any different from going from a direct credit card low versus straight to the to the merchant? There is none. So the question is how do we educate Visa, MasterCard to some extent? Is saying happening. The only problem is you've got like 3 middlemen that are cutting all these fees and getting all that. Why can't we just cut out 1 or 2 of them and just have them to work with you? The conversation. That's what has to happen. They don't want no bank. Here's the issue. No bank in the world wants to have somebody $1 billion in crypto and convert it to fiat.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, how the hell did you get $1 billion in crypto?
Yeah.
Investing and trading for the past 3 years. Well, can you show me every single transaction you've ever made?
Right.
Right. Whereas if a billionaire wants to say, in the States or whatever, that earn stock, let's say they were the founder of Salesforce and says, I have $1 billion at the Salesforce, it's very clear. He received an option. It's on a proxy statement, right?
Yeah.
And he's been able to really show that's mine. But crypto, could be thousands and tens of thousands of transactions. So banks are kind of like, it's easier to say no. It's easier to say no than to say yes. So, how do we get that? What technology do we need to incorporate so that we can audit these transactions faster so we know they're legitimate? I believe there's going to be this level of regulation, a network of exchanges working together, cooperating with each other in regards to specific wallet addresses showing transactions. I really believe that there's going to be some of this happening. I just don't know if that's good or bad, right? Because it does eliminate that level of privacy and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where that may be the kind of the movement. Not sure how I feel about that. But as a bank, could be the option. So
perfect. Sounds good, man. Okay, so once proof of stake this is a question that says 21. Once proof of stake is exhausted with the allocated TPAY, what will the reward be for staking?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So right now the reward is 5 will drop to 1%, so that extends the years that it goes out to much
Say that
longer.
again. You broke up real quick. It's 5%?
Oh, I said, yeah, so it's 1% now, then I can change it. We can change it to 1% going forward.
Okay.
And then that extends the maturity or how long the proof of stake rewards continue. But from 1% to 0.5%, that'll extend it another X amount of time. The beautiful thing about proof of stake is that it's actually never ending. So every time you do a transaction, 0.0001 token pay is actually put back into the proof of. So the important thing to understand on proof of stake is you cannot run out of proof of stake coins if you have no incentive to have a network, right? And if there is no network, then the whole thing dies, right? So what's going to happen is you'll always receive rewards. It's smaller and smaller every year. For now, we can control how much that is, but then eventually over time it'll just be very minuscule. But again, it's just to make sure that, right? And if the value of TokenPay is $1,000, and 0.001 is actually not that bad for running a little node right on your computer. So, so the rate time a transaction is made, a little piece of this TPAY is actually put back into the proof of stake pool, and then that's saved up for the next person to get it. So perpetual amount of TokenPay that's actually used for proof of stake. It's just very high right now, and then eventually it'll get a low, and it'll be kind of like to the point where it's like really, 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 really low stuff happening, right? So that's the best way I can explain this. Okay, so it's not like it runs out. Proof of stake never runs away. It's what it is. It is what it is.
Perfect. All right. Doesn't run out. Okay. Will TokenPay help with easy fiat to Verge?
That's correct. That's the whole point of the bank.
Okay. What countries do you think the debit card will be available in?
For now, when we open up the bank with Germany, we'll allow it to the countries that make sense. European countries will be immediately able to do that, which is fantastic. That hits us the entire European region. There are people in Asia that can actually open up a bank account. So Japanese and Chinese and actually open up an EU bank account as long as you pass all the laws. So it's not a big deal. Can an American open up a German bank account? Yes, but we'll have third party to help us do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is TokenPay holding BTC from the ICO? So you collected a bunch of BTC from the ICO, or do you hold different coins, or did you convert it to fiat? Is one of the questions.
Yeah, we have Bitcoin. We have some hedges, a thing called a contract for difference, that we hedge it to dollar to make sure that we had enough of that in case Bitcoin went down a lot. It actually worked out. We actually hedged a good amount. $1,000 per Bitcoin, and then it unhedged it at 6,600. So we actually have more Bitcoin now than what we had in a token sale.
Wow,
we're really smart. Some of that we obviously bought Verge. We have a very significant stake in Verge, and we're actually in the money on that. So that's our coin right there. So that's eventually going to start going away because we're going to start buying the bank and stuff like that. So there's a lot of other things that are going to have kind of managing the chaos, I guess, with all the fluctuations, and we've been doing much better than I think a lot of people expected.
Sweet. When is Token City and Token Gaming going to be available, and what is doable at each of the platforms?
By the end of this year, the goal is to have that all set up and basically the whole infrastructure done, so people can use TokenPay with that. We are talking to the Prime Minister of Finance of Malta to see if we can get a gaming license in Malta. It'll take a while, and then once we have that, then we can launch all of that stuff in the European Union and stuff like that. So the goal is end of this year, if not.
Okay. All right. This is from Chinaman on Telegram. How many TokenPay is Derek holding as the founder?
No comment.
All right, no comment.
Pretty good.
What's your favorite place? What's your favorite destination to hang with, to celebrate with all the investors when we hit $50?
Well, first thing I'll do is I'll make sure I don't have any money on me or anything in case I get asking me to pay for bills and stuff. I don't know. That's a very good question. I would probably pick Costa Rica, Bali. I like tropical places. There's no way I'm going to be in the middle of winter anywhere if I'm going to go and relax and do anything like that.
Do you have a place?
Yeah, I like tropical.
Do you have a place in Costa Rica or no? I know you're there a lot.
I don't personally have a place. My business partner does.
Okay.
So, but maybe eventually I will. I don't know. I mean, it's not my interest right now. So
yeah, I gotcha.
Things change. So
cool. So, and I know the answer to this one. It says, I have a computer. Can I have one TPAY wallet on each PC? I know that. I actually have that. I have two, but they're just different addresses. So yes, right?
Yeah, you can have as many wallets as you want on different PCs. You can actually have the same wallet insert it into both computers, but your staking will only, right? So you're not getting double staking or anything like that. Yeah, so like you can have it on your Dell and one on your Mac and have the same wallet with the same everything. Sales, it's still on the other one, no big deal. It's just there's no double staking, there's no edge or anything like that. Yeah, you're just getting
there's no advantage to staking. Okay, perfect.
It's just linking to this. It's linking to the same blockchain wallet.
Cool. All right, Verge related questions. What are your personal thoughts on the Verge partnership, and what do you think about the Pornhub with Verge now?
So I think we kind of talked a little bit about this. I think the important thing is to understand that when started meeting Verge, you know, like we started talking about a lot of ideas and a lot of things to kind of get this to be more mass adoption. One of the big, not honest, but I think one of the big drawbacks with a lot of the cryptos out there is that there is no daily use case for using this. A lot of this stuff is just going up on pure speculation. And I think people want to see this type of, it's good that you got the hype. Congratulations. But now that you have the hype, what are you going to do about it? What's your business plan or plan to kind of make sure that that hype lives to itself, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like something that goes up and down and there's nothing you can do with it, right? It crashes. That's what's going to crash something if you don't have a use case. So, so when we started talking, at least with me and the lead developer, we felt that it was good to incorporating some more business stuff, and that's what we're doing. We're kind of like the marriage of opposites. Okay, so the lead developer is very grammar based and understands community, understands how to a lot about crypto, and I'm very business oriented and finance oriented. And together, we both have a common goal, right? We both have views that are very aligned, right, in regards to kind of what's important to people, private, all that. But we just have a way of getting there, and I think both of us have been realizing over the past year of talking to each other what our strengths and things are happening so that people benefit from all of us getting our strengths together and working together. See partnerships. That's the way I like to work with relationships. And then kind of go from there.
Sweet. Okay, so since TokenPay paid 85% of the funding for the deal with MineGeeks and Verge, is there any formal partnership between TokenPay and MineGeeks?
MineGeeks, I'm pretty sure, is well aware of TokenPay. They know, obviously, or at least I hope they know, that we help out. Is there opportunity with TokenPay and MineGeeks? Maybe. That wasn't part of a strings attached deal. But if we give them a call, I think they would answer. If we got an introduction, I'm pretty sure they would reply, right? But there's nothing formal.
Perfect. Any more upcoming cooperations with deals with Verge? It's ongoing.
We have a lot now. Yeah, going on right now. I think that's
What about the next question here is Verge gift cards.
Yeah, that's what we're planning. So there's two ways we're trying to do the whole conversion. There's going to be a debit card with link to the bank account. That's like if you're like a serious Verge holder, convert a lot. But if you want to do like $100 worth and you want to have a card that's $100 worth of Verge, right? And you want to use that worth of Verge and put it in a debit card so you can use that anonymously, you can. The key or the issue is with the regulators is how many cards are given to what address, and you don't want $1 worth of these $500 cards given out, and also it's for funding terrorism. Yeah. You have to be extremely careful about how you distribute this. I'll give you an example. You go on Amazon right now and buy a Nordstrom card with you, right? It's like a Nordstrom gift card. How is that any different from a Verge debit card? There is none, right?
Yeah.
If I go to a Nordstrom and I walk in and I don't show my ID or anything, and nobody knows who I am, and that's a level of privacy. Nobody's going to ask you, how did you get a $500 gift card? I'm not going to tell you something for my birthday, and there's no reason for you to know who they are. I'll ask you for your name and email to sign up to a newsletter, but there's no rights for them to ask. But now Amazon knows that you bought it, so That's where the KYC is. Amazon has it, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But not necessarily. You know, they don't know who they gave it to. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way that we should present it to the regulators, and we should ask, how is this different? What would that you would feel comfortable if this were to happen? What limitations? What technology? What would it take for us to make this? And that's it. Conversations, resolutions, and action.
Perfect. The next questions, a lot of them seem to be about the debit card and Verge. I guess kind of one of the questions is do you know when that's going to be like, when's that going to be a reality?
Yeah, as soon as the whole bank stuff gets in, the integration, it'll be same time. It'll be like both at the same time. And so whatever happens, it'll be both at the same time in regards to all of this. And it'll be a rollout. It'll be phases. It won't be, it'll be phases. We'll start the easy stuff, open up a bank account, etc. Have some simple exchange here and there. We'll probably limit how much people converge to dollar or to euro. It's going to be euro.
I got you.
We'll probably ask people some information, how they got that Verge. You know, there's this that they're going to have. I mean, we got to look at all the legitimate Verge holders. You know, not the people who are nefarious and hiding and trying to do a bunch of, and also TokenPay, because TokenPay has very similar features in some extent, right? So that's important that we kind of get that. So there'll be phases of all of this stuff, and then we'll get to the eventual goal. So that's the goal.
And I see you guys like, and this is just my view of you, is that you do have that side that's going to be the bank where you're going to need to show your info to be legal, but you also have another side that is still legal, but it's just very private, and you don't know any information about people. Is that correct? Like
right.
You can kind of choose either one. You go to the bank if you want the banking, you want the fiat. You got to give your name and all that. If you don't want that, we got that for you too.
That is correct. The main difference between the two is one, you could do tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands or up to $1 million when you're limited to like $50 to a couple $100.
Right.
So anonymity to some extent has a certain level of I guess, or lack of reduction of opportunity.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. Now, I will say this: if you get half a million in fiat and buy Verge, and we see that you're trading back and forth Verge, right? And it's clearly just trading or whatever it is, and you're buying through the merchants are, which would be hopefully our merchant services, right? And we can see this flow of money going back and forth. You're a business owner, you're collecting, and it's $10 million portfolio worth of Verge, and you want to be able to cash some of that out, sure.
Yeah.
But if the guy comes in and says, I've got 10 million of Verge, give me $10 million, it's not so fast, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you got it. And because I don't know how you got it, I can't really do all of it. Maybe I can do a small percentage. Let me find out what you do, and then eventually I can trust you. Until then, it's just really difficult, very difficult. But TokenPay is so young and nascent right now that we can really track a lot.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. We literally we have all the wallet addresses of all the people that purchase, so we can track the name and everybody, more or less. Some people put in fake names, so for us, but we can't track a lot of that. So we have a little bit of a head advantage versus what Verge did, right? But it just takes time to incorporate all this stuff. And awesome. Better technology will get better where some wallet addresses will be given a score. I predict that there will be a technology up a rating score on whether the wallet has been somewhat linked to some nefarious other wallet.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. Like this wallet is clean, it's brand new and it's linked to, an exchange. Okay, well, what exchange is that? There's going to be a level of, I can see that happen. I don't know if it will, but I could totally see that happen where there's a grading system. This one has this. Or this client bought crypto, traded, blah, 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 bought merchant services, credit card, debit, whatever it is. Yeah, there's all these wallets that are all linked. They're all given an A, or 100, because we know they're legitimate and they're good, all of a sudden something weird happens. Okay, he's no longer 100, he's 95,
Yeah.
So, I see that happening.
Wow.
I see that happen. Yeah.
So is this deal exclusive with MineGeek? Or do you think they will start accepting other crypto? So the Verge deal with MineGeek.
It's exclusive for now.
Okay.
I think that's what they've stated. Do the others? Maybe. No guarantee, but we don't know, right? It's up to them. I think they're going to try to look for stuff that's aligned to Verge.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff that they want mass adoption. They didn't choose Bitcoin in the beginning. I believe transaction fees were so high.
Okay.
So the transaction fees for Bitcoin were like $20 at one point. Now it's like 17 cents. And they didn't like that. No business likes the uncertainty of what their cost structure is.
Right.
Okay? Like if you have $1 million, and if I tell you, okay, you have $1 million of transactions, I'm going to charge you 3%, and then I go to 10 million, is it going to still be 3%, or is it going to be 3% or lower, or is it going to be 3% or higher?
Yeah.
Nope, 10 or higher, right? So that is their concern, is this cost structure, transactions, or drop over volume. And I think that's why Bitcoin, they couldn't predict that. So, but that's up to them to publicly mention why I think they didn't pick Bitcoin for that. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. All right, so I don't know the 3 quick questions. Will there be an opportunity for a master node? I think you can just answer that. Is that with TokenPay?
Well, no, there is no master node. There will never be a master node because we are micro nodes through the lab. That's the way we're running it.
Okay. And we already know the staking percentage.
The last one is 5%, and going forward, and then who knows?
You want the last question?
I don't know. I don't want to piss anybody off.
All right.
What would you? Well, okay. What would you say?
All right. So here's the question. It's Mary F. Kill. F is in. You guys know what F is. So this is a question for you. Charlie Lee, Soonerock, and Fluffy Pony, who's the lead developer of Monero. You got to marry one, kill one, F one. Go. And so that's the question. My answer would be, if I were you, I would marry Soonerock, I would F Charlie Lee with your NDA, and I would kill Fluffy Pony. But I wouldn't really.
I would say, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you could say you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I guess so.
Cool.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty similar of rational sense to obviously the situation as of today. Right?
Yeah. Given the current situation.
Right. Right.
And so those are the questions. I just wanted to bring up one thing. It's this TokenPay. What's this? The ecosystem, the TokenPay ecosystem Medium article you guys put out. Just one part here. It just says basically, like, that really caught me. I've been reading this over, and if you guys have a chance, I'll drop a link to this. It's an article. It talks about their whole ecosystem, what they have going on, everything we've talked about, and it's freaking cool, and it's in depth, and it's a lot. And so, like, I recommend going through it twice if you're into TokenPay or Verge and you want to know about it. But it says here, as many are aware, we contributed 66 million Verge to the Verge crowdfunding campaign in order to secure a major deal for the coin and solidify a strong lifetime partnership that will ultimately benefit both TPAY and the Verge community. The high-level goal for both coins is to be top 10 contenders. Nobody will be sleeping until this objective is achieved. And that was just right in the middle of that Medium article, and I just thought that statement says a lot about what you guys are trying to do. I mean, what do you say about that?
Yeah, top 10 is not so much about the coin per se. I mean, I know that's tied to that. It's about being the top 10 most well-known globally cryptocurrencies out there.
I get you.
Right?
And I understand that from talking to you is you're not so concerned with, I mean, of course you'd love it, but you're not concerned with going up the ranks in terms of price. You're going up the ranks in terms of brand awareness, in terms of usability, in terms of number of users, in terms of the cryptocurrency that's actually going to be used in the world.
Right. It's like me saying the U.S. dollar is the safe haven for for this, or the U.S. is a safe haven was good for this. China is good for this. Right. Every country's got like this label of what they're good for, and I think that's what we want. Bitcoin's going to be good for this and good for this, and Verge is going to be good for this, right? And it's fine, you know, maybe some of that kind of gets Venn diagrammed a bit, where they're kind of very similar, what's it between TokenPay and Bitcoin or Verge, but we want to be in the eyes and ears of everybody in this world that we are top 10 recognized.
Right.
It's to purchase stuff, to use it, to store, whatever it is. You know, it's not to say that I, you know, wouldn't want the valuations to crash to zero and still be top 10.
No.
To me, that's the goal. Is how can we be in the eyes and ears, mind share.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be top 10 in mind share. I think that's the right word, mind share. Mind share is extremely important. Yeah.
It's like you talk about the way you just talked about it. I think of it like social media the same way. Like there's Facebook, there's, you know, there's Twitter, and there's Instagram. They all have their cool things. There's YouTube. They all have their different things that they're really good at. But you don't want to be, the thing you don't want to be is MySpace. You don't want to be AOL, right? You want to be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You don't want to be AOL. So very cool.
That's exactly right. And you know, there's a use case for everybody, and there's a purpose for every single blockchain. And as the thing about blockchains is they can be upgraded, they can be, you know, they can be fixed up or whatever it is to modify that. And I think but the important thing is that we're trying to build a very strong brand that's very global. It's not just localized, something that people can use, something that people can remember easily, and that it's fast and safe and secure and, you know, private. You know, I think given this day and age, people really are starting to be aware of the lack of privacy that we have, and I think they're starting to say, you know, it's important that we start to take control of this. And I keep on telling people, I say, you know, I have a bank account at X Bank, right? And I'm not to say that they would do this, but in theory, any employee of this bank could look at all of my assets that I have in this account, right? Yeah. So if I had 5 bank accounts at 5 different banks, only those employees could technically go in and look. Do I want a bank account or some random person, or the fact that I have X amount of money in my assets? You know, that could be a target to insurance fraud. That could be a target of fraud. That could be a target, you know, kidnapping and ransom. I mean, I'm going a little bit of extreme here, but people are starting to realize that there is a level of privacy they want to have with some of their financial assets. That's why people buy, right? That's why people buy gold and they hide it, you know, and they do stuff because they don't really want people to know how much they have. Not everybody's like this, let's be clear, and there's not much, I'm not trying to paranoia, but I think people are starting to realize that we are really extremely exposed to this. And
let me tell you a story from my life. I used to work, when I first got into, I'm a former stockbroker, Series 7 license. I used to work for Charles Schwab. This is back in the early 90s, bro. So like when you were talking about pets.com, I was helping people do online trading and stuff like that, learn how to do it themselves and all that. But as a Charles Schwab rep, I could literally, Charles Schwab is a nationwide company. I could look up, any famous person, if I wanted to look up John Elway's account, I could pull up John Elway's Charles Schwab account and see exactly how, you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I looked up John Elway, but anybody on earth, I could put any name in there and I could see, if they had an account at Charles Schwab, I could see exactly what they owned. And that's crazy.
But that's because it's centralized, right? It's a, you know, the whole why is that done? It's because if you have somebody in customer specific client, you have to give them access to it, because if not, it's going to be like, well, no, sir, we have to give you to somebody else who's your representative. Sure. You can offer 24/7 support. Again, centralized.
Right.
When it's coming to people's privacy data and like going to social media, I mean, literally, you opt in. You're literally letting everybody know that every like that you, every click that you have, that's giving them data. Whether they analyze whatever keywords or whatever are in that thing, they're going to get ads that push to that. Right. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And I've been helping with tech companies for a while, and I understood how it works. And that's why I don't like to post a lot. You know, I don't want to get the targeted ads. And marketing guy before, I learned the ins and outs. I learned the other side. Like, how do I target the people that I want to be my customer, right? And I would see all the stuff that I needed to use. So I'm not condoning, again, nefarious activity or anything illegal or evading taxes. Again, I don't want to encourage that. ever do that, I don't want to go to jail. Let's put it that way. However, I do believe that there's a level of privacy that needs to be done, that needs to be had. I think it's important that people have the right to this level of privacy. And I think that that's something that's going to start growing. And I think that's something that the politicians more and more from their citizens all over the world, not just in the U.S. So, that's what I believe. And I think if we have conversations with politicians and stuff like that, I think we can get closer to a little bit more of that goal.
Wow, man. Well, we've revealed a lot, man. So we got the bank close. We got an NDA with Charlie Lee. And you got a lot of info. Anything else you want to? I know we've been on for over like an hour and a half, bro. Do you?
No, I think a lot. I just want to thank everybody so far that's supported us and been patient with a lot of the stuff that we've done. We know a lot of the stuff has not been smooth, but the reality is that we've been working extremely hard. For all the people out there in the Verge community, let you guys know that you have a real serious partner that's going to get stuff done. We're not here to mess around. We're here to make this all really big for both of us. And I think that's extremely important that we work together. Not to pick fights. Let's start working with partnerships. If you pick a fight, end the fight on a good note with an email and a conversation, and let's try to bring them in together. I have no problem as long as there's a goal with the fight. And I think that's important that we can continue to work together and not be, because we do have a lot of things that we have to go through together. We just got started. So that's it. That's kind of my last message. And again, Sean, thanks for it.
Hey, thanks so much for having us. Everybody, keep kicking ass, keep collecting crypto, and I'm going to end this for us here. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Okay.